This is the Dery Brothers Tribecast, a podcast for diehard Cleveland Indians fans. Presented to you by WaitingForNextYear.com. Now, here are the hosts, Matt and Todd Dery.
Wow, what a week of Cleveland Indians baseball, highlighted by a sweep of the Detroit Tigers as the Indians take care of business over the weekend. Welcome in, everybody, to the Dery Brothers Tribecast, right here on WaitingForNextYear.com, brought to you by our friends at the Center for Advanced Dentistry and by BreakingT.com, the best T-shirts, best Tribe T-shirts out there for you. Matt and Todd with you. Todd, who even knows where to begin? Clevenger, Plesac get in trouble. Clevenger and Plesac lie. The Indians, look absolutely abysmal against the Cubs and get destroyed, only to go to Detroit, where, of course, they've owned that bottom feeder organization 20 in a row. And feeling good about the Indians now with a day off before the Pirates for the next three in Pittsburgh and then Detroit and then over the weekend. But, man, what a wild week for the Tribe, huh?
First of all, call them by their proper name. It's the unnamed team. Sweat the unnamed team. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, this was quite a roller coaster of a week. I'm honestly choosing to ignore that the Cubs games even happened. Number one,
they're good.
Yes, they're good, but that's not where I was going with it. Where I was going with it is I couldn't stomach to watch that team in our stadium. I really couldn't. I couldn't look at Kyle Hendricks on the mound without thinking of Game 7. I couldn't think of Lester in our stadium without thinking of Game 7. I was happy to see Jason Kipnis, but, and I felt bad because he didn't get the proper, the stands reaction, and I know they put the video up for him, which was a classy move, but I would have liked to have been there, when he came back. But long and the short of it is I'm going to choose to ignore those two games. The only thing about those two games that was interesting, and we'll go right into that, is Adam Plutko, who was thrust into starting one of those two games thanks to the immaturity of Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger. And after the game, he gave very interesting post-game comments, which basically were they lied to us. They looked at they looked at us and they lied to us, and we don't like liars around here. And he was very upfront, and I like what he said. He said these two guys, we use that term grown-ass man. Well, those grown-ass men can come here and speak for themselves. And obviously they were very upset. And that sparked, quite a conversation. And now you and I, just before we started recording this, saw the article in Jeff Passan wrote on ESPN that basically that Plesac and Clevenger are really not welcome right now inside that Indians clubhouse.
Well, no, there's so many places to go, with the show today. And like you said, I mean, the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to it, this season could have spiraled out of control. You get blasted twice at home by the Cubs. Now you're going on the road, and yes, it's the team, it's the unnamed team, it's the team you own. It's a team you've destroyed over the years, and it's a rival, and it's within the division, but they had been playing better. Their media, had been kind of lathering them up a little bit.
I thought they were back.
That's right. 9-5 Tigers, and we're going to the playoffs, and bring up Mize, and they're going to go make a World Series run. And the Indians came in this weekend and handled their business, and they came together as a group and won 3 baseball games, and that's still the most important thing. But according to Jeff Passan, like you said. And again, if you're under a rock and you don't know him, Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac lied to their teammates, went out in Chicago, got in trouble. Plesac got sent home. Clevenger sits in a meeting with the team, backs Plesac, and then it comes out the next day after he rides home on a team plane with his teammates that he lied and was actually out with Plesac. But Todd, what I think is most impressive about this situation is the Indians said, get your stuff and drive to Detroit and meet us. And then the team meets Friday morning and basically says, fuck you guys, excuse my language, go back to Lake County, go back to Cleveland. We don't want you around. And they, basically demote them and send them down for 10 days. That's a pretty huge statement. And now the passing article at ESPN says Oliver Perez stood up and basically said, hey, I'm 38-39. I don't need this. I'll opt out of the season if these guys are on the team. Lindor outspoken. Pletko, who's one of the team leaders and one of the team representatives, the player reps. These guys don't want them around. Now, again, when it comes to Saturday and the Indians don't have a starting pitcher and may have to use Logan Allen, who's no good, but they've come together and rallied together behind this, which was one way they could have gone. They could have gone the other way, and they didn't.
This is where, for all the sabermetric first people, and listen, I'm pro analytics, absolutely. But this is where Tito absolutely excels, and this is why you have him as your manager. Because who else in baseball that you can say off the top of your head definitively could get that team to then focus after this, complete fiasco and getting destroyed by the Cubs, and then go on the road against a team that's been playing good ball and go into their park knowing that you've beaten them 18 straight times and then beat them 3 times in a row. I mean, that's not just like an easy thing to do. So, kudos to Tito for being able to be that calming voice and mature. He's just that's why he's the manager.
Right.
That's why he excels, and that's why you love him being the manager.
No doubt. And there's only a handful of guys. Like, you look what Bob Melvin's doing with the A's, and yes, they have good talent, but not household talent and household name talent. There are only a few guys, like you said, that can really steady a ship like that. I mean, the Indians hadn't hit at all, can't hit. Worst OPS in the game, everything else. And I'm not saying the Tigers were throwing Verlander, Scherzer, and Price at them like the old days, but the at-bats against Turnbull, making them make pitches on Saturday. Yeah, they stranded so many guys, and that game should have been 8-0 instead of 3-1. But regardless, the at-bats were better. Frankie got hot. Reyes is crushing the ball. Jose does what he does against Detroit. And all in all, it was a good showing all weekend, and that's what you want. And now, 3 very winnable games this week against the worst team in baseball. I think the Pirates are 4-14. And then the Tigers again. So keep it going. And if those guys have to be away from the team, for the other guys to function and to feel like, hey, we've earned our stripes here, those guys haven't, now's probably the time to be doing this. It's not like you're playing the Yankees.
Yes, that's a great point. And we talked about this last week, was that this is the real soft part of the schedule. Detroit for 3, Pittsburgh for 3, Detroit for 3. And then you have the Cardinals. The
Twins.
And you got the Twins for 3.
Yeah.
So, and those are at home, and it's going to be very interesting to see, where they go with the Plesac and Clevenger situation. I still have, we recorded our last pod basically about 5 hours before the Clevenger news broke, so we didn't get to talk about that. But I think that he's thrown his last pitch with the Indians. I really, truly believe. I mean, they need another. Everyone knows they need another bat. So you have a guy who's under club control for another couple of years, who's still a great front end starting pitcher. Obviously, he's upset everybody in his. Plesac, it was bad enough, but Clevenger with the line just makes it so much worse. And he getting on the plane and putting everyone at risk was just really stupid. I think he's throwing his last pitch with the Indians. I think that they're going to deal him. I think they're going to keep him down there. I think you'll see Plesac come back, but I think you're going to see Clevenger dealt. Here,
I'm all for it. I'm actually all. Go ahead.
If I'm the Yankees, and Aaron Judge is going to be activated this week, Giancarlo Stanton's going to be activated again, there is no room for Clint Frazier yet again. If I'm the Yankees, I say, Indians, would you like Clint Frazier back? Let's work something out for him.
You think Cherninetti?
We could use Clint Frazier. That's for sure.
Well, of course we could, but I don't know if Cherninetti want that headache back. I mean, the reason they're trading Clevenger is not because he's 29 and he's in his prime and he's really good. It's because he's a headache. And I think Tito said, get Bauer out of here, he's a headache. I think Tito's probably telling Cherninetti, let's get this kid out of here, he's a headache. And I'm actually all for it because he lied. And yes, guys make mistakes. And Clevenger put out a little statement, and Plesac did the statement, and then this stupid video. these kids better get their act together. Polesak's under team control for forever, and I think is a young kid that's screwed up and is probably following Clevenger, which is not probably a good thing. Zach needs to get away from that kid and carve his own path. Clevenger's a Bauer follower, and we saw what happened with Bauer. Tito said, get him out of here. And they made a very good trade, and that's what Chris and Mark do well. That's what they do best, is make those kind of moves. I mean, look at Franmil Reyes. Look at the Clevenger trade when they acquired him for Pistano. So that's where the Indians are at their best, when they trade from a position of strength. I'm with you. I think Clevenger will pitch again with the Indians in the next couple weeks, but I think if we get to that deadline, I don't think it's going to be Lindor that's going to be traded. I do think it'll be Clevenger, because I think they're tired of his act. They're tired of the he's done Twitter rants. He embarrassed himself with his, I don't know if it was his wife or girlfriend or ex-wife or whatever it was, with the mother of his kids. The Bauer stuff. He's on Bauer's videos talking about leadership and stuff, and then goes and does this. My guess is Tito's had enough. I think Plesac will get another chance because he's young and made a stupid mistake. But I'm with you. I think my guess is I bet Clevenger's gone. And I wouldn't have an issue with it as long as they get a good bat for him. And maybe bring up Scott Moss or whatever. Maybe he's the next guy.
The main problem is everybody is in. First of all, the trade deadline's in
2 weeks
at the end of August, right? And I think everybody, for the most part, is unless you're like the Buccos or there's basically like 3 or 4 teams that are definitely would sell their pieces, but it's not like there's a glut of teams that are going to be selling in normal years. So, but there's always a market for high-end guys, and contender to contender for guys that can help you now is obviously something that could still work too. So, I got to do more research on what bats are going to be available, but it's funny. One of the worst team, the worst team in the American League is currently?
Actually,
they're
the Red Sox.
Red Sox, second worst record in baseball, the Red Sox. Which, it's long overdue for that franchise. And this is classic, and this is a whole other conversation for our time. Classic Dave Dombrowski sells out everything sells out for the title, gets it, guts the farm system, and then when everything's gutted, he's out. He did the same thing. I'm actually for somebody that hates the Tigers more than anybody, I'm actually a Dave fan. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Listen, if the Indians sold out and won a World Series and then sucked for 10 years, I'd be okay with it because they won the World Series. Yeah. But I mean, yes, I was just saying. But anyways, it's going to be interesting to see. But the Indians obviously could still use another bat, and I think that the outfield, with they have the glut of outfielders to use, but as of right now, it seems like there's only a couple that are usable. We talked about this over text, but I think at this point, and he's only been back for the weekend, but even ice cold, Tyler Naquin's at bats have been really good. And I am one of the first people to tell you that when he lost that ball and didn't take charge in Game 6 of that ball against the White Sox, I said he was dead to me. I could never do it anymore. You mean the Cubs? The Cubs. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Are we going back? Are we really going back to that again? No, I'm just saying. I was just so I could never forgive him for that. Right, and now here I am. And now he's our best outfielder in 2020, and I'm saying he's got to play every day. I know. How do you not play him every day? He has to. No, he does. He does. I mean, they gave Oscar an opportunity Saturday night. He hadn't played in a week, and they're like, all right, and they're throwing him out there against the Tigers' best pitcher in Turnbull. And his first at bat was decent. He drew a walk, but I went back and watched. I mean, he can't catch up to a fastball. He got a bunch of cookies in those at bats against all these different relievers when the Tigers emptied their bullpen that night, and he can't square up a ball. And Delino DeShields has bunted his way on a couple times. He's made some nice defensive plays. He went the other way on a hit yesterday, and he's going to keep playing because he's a positive guy and a veteran that you can at least rely on. Albeit he might have the worst outfield arm I've ever seen next to Grady Sizemore. Johnny Damon, Grady Sizemore, Coco Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart is pretty bad, too, in Detroit if you watch this weekend. I know he threw Domingo Santana out on a lollipop throw, but
that's neither here nor there. You're right. Zimmer and Mercado right now are not big league outfielders. Now, I think Oscar's going to snap out of it. I think we saw last year a young kid that's got some potential and talent, but right now he's just totally lost. Zimmer's 3 years older and just isn't good. That's the problem.
He's 27. I mean, now is his time. They finally gave him pretty much regular everyday at bats. I mean, granted, I know it's only been like a month, but when you have 60 games and you're not producing right away, you're not going to play. And Oscar's not producing, and Zimmer had every chance in the world to take that center field job, and it was his.
Or left field, whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Right. I mean, Domingo, like there's still, at least with Domingo, yes, he's a butcher out there, but he can always get into one. There's always that threat that he's going to get into one, and so I can live with him. And Luplo will platoon with Naquin, and I can live with him against lefties. That's good. I'm good with that. And sad to say that I think the Shields is going to play center field regularly. You know what though? In the 9 spot, at least he's got a good glove. He does all the fundamental things good. He's got good speed, and he actually, while he's not a great, he gets on base because he walks, and while he's not a high average guy, at least his at bats are good. You know what I mean? Like, he's not up there. Like, Domingo Santana has been driving me crazy because he comes up, he swings at the first pitch. It's like
every time
Drupal circa 2012. Every time he's up there swinging to the first pitch, take a strike, man. Jeez.
I just want some props from like our December and January shows when I told you that Delano Shields would be playing a lot.
You did. I believe you said he would be the everyday center fielder at some point now, or get regular at bats. And both Jeremy and I, executive producer, on the text were like, "Dude, you're out of your mind."
I'm telling you, he's such a Tito. He's such a Tito fit, and you knew Mercado would have a little bit of a regression. I didn't think it'd be this big of a regression, but. Dery Brothers Tribecast, Matt and Todd with you on waitingfornextyear.com. Tribe, a 3-game sweep in Detroit. I mean, that's a pretty incredible, Todd. 20 straight wins over another team. I don't care how bad Detroit is and how bumbling they are as an operation, but my God, I mean, that's not easy to do. You figure you drop one, the other team runs into a couple one night, but no, 20 in a row, that's awesome. That's just incredible.
It's impossible. I think I saw last night. It's the second longest streak for one team against another since 1969. And how about this? The best stat I saw: the Indians' ERA in the 20-game winning streak is 2.04.
Amazing.
In 20 games. I mean, you think at some point, the game was 10-8 or 10-9 or whatever. 2.04 ERA. It's crazy. Oh, and the other thing I saw this on...
204 plus 100. Yeah. Plus 100, that's Miguel Cabrera's current playing weight.
He did have a couple of hits. He also ran through that stop sign.
That was nice. That helped us big time yesterday.
Oh, yeah. That was the inning where had he held at third, they would have the bases loaded and nobody out. Instead, they had first and second and nobody out, and then the next guy grounded into a double play to end the inning, which, really helped. But the other thing that I saw that was amazing was, do you know in the 20-game winning streak who has the most runs batted in for the Indians during that streak?
I would guess Jose Ramirez because he just kills the Tigers.
Carlos Santana. Your guess was Jose. The answer was Oscar.
Really?
14. I saw it on Quick Pitch last night. I couldn't believe it either.
Who was hosting Quick Pitch last night? Hazel May?
I think it was the great Hazel May. Yes.
Love that show.
Or no, I don't know. It was, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, yeah. So the outfield, yeah. Long story short, we got a lot. It's kind of like having, the old, what it reminds me of? The old college football team who rotates the quarterbacks. When you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you have 0.
Right. It's like Joe Germain and Stanley Jackson.
Ooh, that was a good one. I like that. I was going to go with Danny Werfel and Jesse Palmer.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know why that popped.
What about Stephen Threet? What about Stephen Threet and
Danny Werfel? Maybe that's who it was.
Right, or Stephen Threet and Nick Sheridan, the one year that.
Oh, that was good.
That Michigan did that, which they rarely ever do. Jeremy would appreciate that.
That was the Rich Rod era, if not.
I believe so. But no, so you look at it and you go, all right, so 13-9, a game back at first. They get the Twins next week. Run differential, I think, is plus 21, which is like sixth best in baseball. And again, if this story is true about the Indians really, really, the players demanding that those guys, that's a pretty big statement by the organization, too, to say those guys drive all the way up, not all the way, it's 3 hours, but they drive and hit the turnpike and drive from Cleveland to Detroit, bringing their stuff, thinking they're going to rejoin the team, and then told, get back in your car and drive back home, and then go to Lake County. That's some statement by the organization.
I like it that the players basically did the policing, and they're like, you know what? Fuck these two guys. They did this to us. They don't deserve to be here. Because the way that Passan article sounds, it makes it sound like these players basically all got together and were like, we do not want these guys here. And you know what? You say what you want about the Dolan ownership and the Dolan's cheap and all that crap. You find me a finer run organization. Seriously. The play between the player development and the front office and the way they handle PR, it is leaps and bounds above the other two organizations in this town. Yeah. And really, it's pretty. And it's a testament to many things, but the stability by having great leaders like Antonetti in this organization for a really long time who set that tone, and it just. You don't hear a bad word about them. When people leave the organization, all you hear is good things. You see people like, Peter Gammons. No one loves the Indians organization more than Peter Gammons, right? That guy friggin' blows this franchise. He does.
We are highly regarded.
Peter Gammons' two favorite things are stroking the Indians organizations and hating on Donald Trump. That's right. His whole Twitter feed.
They have plenty of national media that I wouldn't say they're back pocket, but certainly like them. I like reading Anthony Castrovince's stuff because he's got a tribe angle and he's a national guy. Passan, of course, is a Clevelander and Rich's son. So there's plenty of people that see what this organization does, but there's real consequences. There's real professionalism. These guys screw up and. You're right. Some of these other organizations would have just thrown them right back into the fire and right back onto the mound. And the Indians didn't do that. And, look, I was watching Tito's, I don't know if it was his pregame Zoom the other day. And I don't know the guy's name. I think it's like John Fanta or something. Is it Indians Baseball Insider or whatever, the dude with the glasses?
.com. Yeah.
Like IBI or whatever. But he posts all these videos on Twitter. And he posted the video of Francona. And they're like, Tito, your thoughts on Zach Plesac's video that he made in his car? And he goes, it's very disappointing. And that was it. I mean, there was no more. I mean, you could just tell he was pissed. And it's like, look, you got a guy like Carrasco who went through leukemia. You got a guy like Tito who's not in good health. Oliver Perez is 39 years old and it would be more, immunocompromised than other players. And these guys screwed him over. And they're not forgetting right now, and this is motivating the guys because they got wins this weekend. They could still play better, by the way. We could sit here and go, "Woo, we swept the Tigers," and it's always fun to beat that gross organization. But bottom line is, they could still play better. The pitching yesterday wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. Their bullpen was better than Detroit's. Saturday night's 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Box scored. That game should have been 8-0, 8-1. I mean, the fact that Brad Hand had to come in, and again, we could do the whole Hand or Karinchak routine, and maybe we'll do that in a second. But they could still hit. They could still move runners over and in better. But now, 13-9 in a game back with everything that's gone on, I think you'll take it.
It's pretty amazing, and. The thing that you look at, and we said this in the last pod also, is it's the top 8 teams in the league, in the American League and National League both make the playoffs, right? So it's basically I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first and second place teams in each division, and then basically 2 more after that, right? So as of right now, the Indians are a game back of the Twins. The Indians are 13-9, the Twins are 14-8. Tribe has the fourth best run differential in the American League behind the other three division leaders, which are the Yankees and the A's and the Twins. So, you the way you look at it is you just keep treading water, win series, take 2 out of every 3 if you can, and they'll be fine. They'll get into October. What you're trying to avoid, basically, I think you want to be there in the middle, though. Get me to a 4-5 matchup or a 3-6 matchup. I don't want to have to go 3 games against the Yankees or 3 games against Oakland, So that's the thing that you really start to look for. And again, we say, there's so much baseball left to be played, but there's really not. I mean, they played 22 of 60 games here. So we're
the home stretch is not far away.
Yeah, it's not. So winning all these games against the bad teams is obviously important. Look at where the Twins, the Royals helped the Twins, the Indians out majorly because I think they played 7 times and went 5-2 against them this week. They swept them last weekend, and this weekend, I think they were split 2-2. So I don't know. I think that if we just take care of business against the bad teams, you'll be into October. You'll be fine. So, look at who knows what's going to happen. Baltimore is like ripping the cover off the ball. Have you seen what their offense has been doing?
Yeah. It's been pretty crazy. I believe the Indians drafted Jesus Aguilar over Anthony Santander, which that was a mistake.
No, basically that's who they decided to keep.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He was exposed in the Rule 5 draft a few years ago, and the Orioles picked him up, and he's been great. He's been great for them. But the Orioles have scored 112 runs in their 21 games. The Indians have scored 83.
Ouch.
In one more game. And so there you go. But, the Indians have the pitching staff like no other, and I'll tell you, Tito said this yesterday after the win. I saw. He said, when your starter goes 2 2/3 and we're sitting there lining up,
shaking hands
after the game, that's a good thing. And props out to everyone other than Dominic Leone yesterday. Doing a great job.
Uncle Phil looked good. He was throwing the ball, spinning
another gem. Yeah, I'm ready to basically say that everyone in the bullpen, except for Dominic Leone, can be used basically anywhere. I really have confidence right now. I have confidence in pretty much everybody. Dominic Leone, I've seen enough. The Leone battery yesterday was.
How about Uncle Sandy going deep?
Wild pitch single. I mean, come on, man.
How about Uncle Sandy going deep yesterday?
That was. He did have a couple better swings in the last 2 games. But that doesn't mean I need to see him every day.
No.
I'm ready for Roberto. I said when we put the lineup out yesterday, and it was a day game after a night game, and Sandy Leone caught Saturday night, and I saw him in the lineup yesterday too. And I texted you. I was like, Leone's catching again today? And you're like, yeah, Bo Taylor can't be used.
No.
Tito knows it too.
That poor kid will be sent back to Lake County, and he'll be he'll be at that Bob Evans off of the Willoughby exit very soon.
He'll be by the Willow Dome.
That's right.
And Roberto Perez should be back Tuesday.
Yeah,
that's what all reports say, which is good. It's a good thing.
Well, I want to talk about this Karen Jack hand situation, but you got to tell us first about Dr. Ben Hornstein. He's got to be happy. The folks at the Center for Advanced Dentistry should be heavy in Tribe sweeping the Tigers talk, I would think.
Yeah, Dr. Ben very excited about the sweep. He's also very excited about taking care of you and your teeth and making sure that your teeth are exceptional looking, clean. If you have any sort of issues, whether it be a root canal or crown or whatever it might be, if you're looking for a dentist on the east side who not only is an absolute professional, but will keep things light and keep you at ease. And, no one likes going to the dentist, but Dr. Ben and his crew over there at the Center for Advanced Dentistry, they just make it so relaxed for you. So listen, no one likes going to the dentist. As I said, I don't like going, but you know what? For the last 20 plus years when I've been going to Dr. Ben, it's a true pleasure. So if you're looking for a dentist on the east side, heck, if you live on the west side and you want to get a great dentist and you don't care about the drive, come on over to Orange Place, right off of Chagrin Boulevard. check them out, the Center for Advanced Dentistry at cfad.net or at cfad Beechwood on Twitter.
So Saturday night, the Indians, of course, knocked off the unnamed team 3-1. Once again, pulling out, destroying the hearts of certain beat writers and everybody in Detroit that just cheerleads for the local baseball team. But Brad Hand had to come in, Todd, in a 3-0 game, and again put runners on. And I know we had the he got the double play ball that he wanted. It appeared to end the game with Scope, and then they called catcher's interference and everything else, and Jacoby Jones got the hit. But you had the winning run at the plate, you had the tying run at second, in all of a sudden in a 3-1 game where Shane Bieber, who by the way we haven't even mentioned yet, was outstanding again on Saturday night. But it sort of begged the question on social media: is it time for James Karinchak to become the closer? What are your thoughts? I'm not ready to pull the plug yet on Brad Hand, but it's obvious. He's got 2 pitches. They know it's coming. The fastball was not located very well the other night, so he was throwing so many sliders. But it's kind of weird having a closer that's basically his number one pitch is this 79-mile-per-hour slider.
Yeah, the main problem is everything is nibbling. Remember what Dad used to say about Charles Nagy? He used to refer to him as the nibbler. Everything with him is nibbling, and it drives me a little crazy with the nibbling. So I would say that when your closer has 2 pitches and isn't handling things well, and things are off the plate, or and then you have a guy who is pitching in front of him who's throwing absolute gas. No one can touch the high fastball. No one can touch the curveball. I think the handwriting is on the wall, pardon the pun. Now, with that said, I think you ride it out with Hand a little bit longer, because if you do move Karinchak to the 9th, that also then leaves a big hole in the 8th. Nick Whitgren's doing a decent job, but he's, he's fine. I don't love him. I love Ollie, but he's going in spots here. But, you just never know when you're going to need these guys. Cam Hill is a guy who could, get a bigger role. Phil Maton could get a bigger role. I'm not sure. But I think eventually it's going to happen. But I'm with you. I think we got to ride it out a little bit more. I'm not saying I want to wait until Hand completely implodes, but I don't think you're just going to pull him without, 2 or 3 or 4 bad outings in a row. And that's not Tito. No. We know Tito, and Tito's going to let his veterans go as long as they can possibly go before replacing them. But it's a short season, and sometimes maybe you don't have that opportunity. So it's a tough call.
It is, and I love the role that Karinchak plays for this team. And yesterday Tito decided to ride him for 2 innings because he had to use everybody, and then the game was never really out of reach. I mean, I know the Indians had. I think it was 8-4 was the largest lead that they had, and then the Tigers added a run in the 9th. And look, give Detroit. I will give them credit for one thing, and I think it's a testament to their manager, Ron Gardenhire, is that they play hard and that they're in every game for the most part. But the bottom line is, it shouldn't have come to that Saturday or Sunday, for that matter. But putting Brad Hand in right now, when Brad Hand was the All-Star in San Diego, he'd start you off with about 95 or 96 from the left side, and then throw that slider and just forget it. The back foot slider, as Tom Hamilton always says. Now, strike one has to be the slider, and it's 79. But it's sometimes he's hanging it, and then the fastball he barely uses. And it's like, no, you got to establish the fastball and throw it by people. And he doesn't do that anymore. And the fastballs,
he can't throw his fastball by anybody anymore. That's a problem.
Big problem. So, you can have,
but according to Jim Price and Dan Dickerson, the fastball usage has been down every single year the last 10 years, according to the broadcast yesterday that I heard on the radio.
Art of pitching?
I got a buggy whip yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He did say that on the on the Franmil Reyes home. By the way, that Franmil Reyes home run just landed. I mean, oh my God, that second one yesterday was just what a beast. What a beast he is. Oh, I love that guy.
He's a monster, and he's just he seems very happy out there. He seems like he's a really good dude, which I enjoy. What a monster. He when he's going good, things are exponentially better for this offense when he's going good. I don't understand why although Naquin is now batting 6th, but I don't understand why anybody was pitching to Reyes until recently, because there's nothing behind him. Nothing's going to happen.
That's what is interesting. And, we had talked on text about, if Frankie doesn't start hitting, do you move him down? Do you move him back up to the leadoff spot? And I like Cesar Hernandez there. And look, those swings yesterday that Francisco Lindor had, if this is him finally heating back up, my goodness, is this a welcome sight, a sight for sore eyes, as Matt Underwood would say. Johnny on the spot. 2 for the price of 1. But, if this is the Lindor of old, fantastic, because, God, it's needed. But his swings yesterday were just so much better, so much better.
I agreed. It was good to see. And even, he took that 0 for 5 on Saturday night, and you were like, just painful. But they need him to break out, obviously. But I'll say this. If Jose Ramirez had Frankie Lindor's personality, don't you think that he would be up for kind of face of baseball kind of stuff the way Frankie is?
Yeah, and he's amazing.
There's a strong argument that he's a better player. I mean, he's a fine defender. I know Frankie's a Gold Glove shortstop, whatever. He's a fine defender. He's a better base runner. And the way hitting from both sides of the plate with power, there's nothing he doesn't do. And let's not forget, you go back, do you remember he was playing left field in 2016 for half the season?
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, Juan Uribe was playing third.
Right, because Brantley was hurt, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a natural shortstop. He moved to second, then moved to third. I mean, Jose, I don't know how his agent lives with himself.
That is a team-friendly contract.
Might be the worst contract ever signed by a player. Think about it. If he hits the open market last year, what he would make. He would have destroyed it. He would have gotten $300, $400 million. Absolutely. He's awesome. So, there's a strong argument to be made that they're on the same level. They are. I think they're on the same level. I do.
Well, and obviously hype is a big factor too. Francisco Lindor was a much decorated player, out of high school and a first round pick, and and you're right. Jose kind of came out of nowhere, and is this a utility guy? Is this guy just filling in? And then you're right, and he's burst on the scene. He absolutely destroys Detroit pitching. It's incredible how the numbers that they put up on the Detroit broadcast this weekend with just what he does to them, and it's amazing. It's right up there with Jim Thome. So you're right. What more can you say? And when they're going, and you got Hernandez at the top, and then Santana he's always on base, whether he's hitting or not. And I love seeing Carlos go the other way on Saturday. That was awesome, because he's been trying to pull everything. But that 1 through 5 is lethal.
When he wasn't trying to pull everything,
right?
He went back. Yeah.
By the way, I want to get you the pitching matchups for this week, but we got to remind people. If you go to breakingt.com/Dery, Breaking Tea, by the way, is everybody's got a T-shirt company. Everybody's trying to make these shirts. But if you go to breakingt.com, you will see the best Cleveland shirts, whether it's Browns, Cavs, but the Indian stuff is unbelievable. The Bieber Fever shirt, the Frankie front flip shirt, the Jose Ramirez shirt, and now the newest one, the James Karinchak Wild Thing 99 T-shirt. You can get that at breakingt.com. Just go to breakingt.com/Dery and put in the promo code TRIBECAST10, and you'll get 10% off your order there at breakingt.com. I'm getting the Karinchak shirt. I love it. He's been on fire. It's sweet. Wild Thing has his name on it. I think we helped design that, Todd, and I'm proud of it. I like just if you're wearing shirts, and Todd, you do it all the time, wear your Tribe stuff. It's the best place to go to get your gear.
Absolutely. I love it. And, it's not just for Cleveland sports. They have great T-shirts. For example, they got a great Travis Kelce shirt. I know the pride of Cleveland. They got a great, Super Bowl champ Chiefs T-shirt, with Travis Kelce. Cleveland Heights' own. If you're into I don't know, if you're just a baseball fan and you like the Mets, they got a new Queens Power Company with Dominic Smith and Pete Alonso shirt I saw. They got a new great Buffalo bow for Bo Bichette. If you're, for the Blue Jays, they come out when something good happens. They are coming out with T-shirts like immediately.
Oh yeah, like the Joe Kelly thing. They made a Joe Kelly shirt. Like Fernando Tatis has been hot. They made a Padres sweet brown and gold Tatis shirt for sure. So breaking.
All sports. I mean, if you even if you're a hockey fan, they got stuff for you. So come and check them out. BreakingT.com/Dery for that 10% off.
Yep. And, use the promo code TRIBECAST10 and get 10% off your order there at BreakingT.com. All right, so let's wrap it up.
I got a question about Breaking T. They got a Whitty Hutton T-shirt.
Do they have a Sal Governale Russian roulette T-shirt?
Rush and roulette. Yes. Go ahead.
Oh man, we're off the rails here. They should also. Never mind. So let's talk about this week. So 3 against the Pirates. Another off day today. This has been crazy. They've played all these games in a row, and then last week had 2 days off. And now tonight have a night off. 3 games in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. Of course, the Indians saw the Pirates 3 times at the end of that sort of summer camp exhibition tour. Tomorrow night, Carlos Carrasco back on the hill against J.T. Brubaker. Have you heard of him?
Who?
J.T. No. He's the pride of Akron.
What do Bucko mean anyway?
They're 4-14. They're a solid team. J.T. Brubaker's from Akron. He pitched at Akron. This is his second big league start. His first one, he got racked by the Twins. But the Pirates,
the Indians organization, or he's from Akron.
He went to the University of Akron.
Oh, okay.
I did a little research. I me. I have my NL only fantasy league, but I've never heard of JT.
So you know everything about National League prospects. That is true.
Maybe I'll pick him up because he's pitching twice this week. But no, JT Brubaker is. Musgrove is out. Keller is out. So the Pirates are basically down to like 4 starters, and he's one of them. Too bad we don't get to see Derek Holland. That would have been fun. Wednesday, terrible. Aaron Savali against Steven Brault. So that's a left-hander on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, Shane Bieber and Trevor Williams, he's a big league pitcher.
He's good, Trevor Williams.
Yeah.
I had him on my squad last year. He's not bad.
No, his ERA's in the 3s. So that should be a good pitching matchup on Thursday. Then, the Indians come home to play the unnamed team Friday, Saturday, Sunday as the Tigers come in. I would assume Pletko's going to pitch Friday against Fulmer again. I would.
He's pitching for sure. I mean, I would 100% go with he is going to pitch for sure. What is not known is whether or not Logan Allen is going to have to pitch. That's what I think. I think Pletko's going to be in the rotation for a while now.
So Saturday, the Indians don't have a starter, and they're going to have to decide on what to do there. But you're right. My guess would be Logan Allen in a bullpen game against Matthew Boyd, who the Indians haven't seen yet this year. Has really struggled. He's supposed to be the Tigers' ace, but he's not been good. And then Sunday, Carlos Carrasco against question mark for Detroit. They have 2 open spots Tuesday and Wednesday. Ivan Nova's now hurt, and they've rotated guys in and out. And the talk in Detroit is that their number 1 prospect and the former number 1 overall pick a couple years ago, Casey Mize, could pitch Tuesday, which means he would pitch on Sunday. That would certainly be interesting to watch. This is like the second coming of Verlander, they say. So keep an eye out for Sunday if Mize gets an opportunity. I'll believe it when I see it. I still think ownership here wants to wait until he can sell hot dogs and popcorn and have a walk-up.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And they don't have to start his clock either.
Right, so we'll have to wait and see. But that's what this week looks like. So Tuesday or Wednesday against Brault, I'm sure we'll see Luplow, but again, and maybe even Saturday against Boyd. So 2 lefties, but other than really Trevor Williams, nothing really jumps out. So the Indians should take advantage here and continue to pile up some wins against some bad teas.
Yeah, this is the softest part of the schedule, so this is time to make hay. You got to do it.
Indians team ERA, as you said, was 2.68, which is the best in the American League. The Pirates' ERA 5.55, fourth worst in baseball. So
poor Derek Shelton. He didn't know what he was getting himself into.
It is a cool stadium, though. I mean, it's nothing like
that. 1 and 1A to me are what is it, AT&T Park now? I don't know, who knows what it is, in San Francisco, and PNC. Those are the two best stadiums in sports. PNC is, have you been to a game there?
No, I've just driven past it. I've not been inside.
It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, truly, it is an amazing, amazing place. Executive producer Jeremy and myself went there. Each took one kid. I think it was 5 years ago, I think. Yeah, it was good stuff. It was July. They were there July 4th weekend. It was good. It's just a beautiful, beautiful park, and the way they do things, they basically, they have the one of the bridges basically runs throughout, across left field, and they block it all off, and they had food trucks and vendors, and it was almost like a big tailgate. It was really cool. Very well done. Beautiful park.
Yeah, their team is not beautiful. I mean, that's Eric Gonzalez is getting regular at bats, but
Gonzo versus Lupo, live action, huh?
That's right.
Where's the great Max Moroff when you need him?
Oh man. All right, Todd. So we'll see what happens when those 10 days are up later this week with Clevenger and Plesac. But man, what a statement that the Indians made, at least this weekend, both on and off the field. And let's hope they continue to play good baseball, and hopefully the bats continue to be like they were this past Friday and Sunday, and this team continues to pile up wins. In the next week, a big series with the Twins. Big series.
Looking forward to it. I hate when we have off days and there's no game to watch, but listen, it certainly beats everything else we've been going through lately. So I'll take it if it's just 6 games in a week instead of 7.
Yeah, but what about those OBJ one-handed catches?
Pass.
All right, this has been the Dery Brothers Tribecast, again brought to you by Waiting for Next Year, brought to you in part by waitingfornextyear.com. That's where you find us. Also, the Center for Advanced Dentistry and BreakingT.com. Get 10% off of your order. Get that Karen Shack shirt and put in Tribecast 10 and get 10% off. We'll talk to you again next week.